Well, if you've been watching the news, you know Kern is on course to set a bloody record for homicides. It's a topic our Olivia LaVoice has been working on since February.
Over the last 3 months, a team of KGET reporters and editors analyzed homicide in Kern County.
He's gone from us, and I really loved him like a brother, and I just hate the chance that I never got to tell him that I loved him.
The story is part of team coverage of homicides in Kern County, which found there are hundreds of unsolved killings.
Homicides happen about every 100 hours in Kern County, but no one really tracks the bloody trail of grief those killings leave. There hasn't been any place where all of the information has been pulled together in a single user-friendly format and made available to the general public. So we're going to try. Beginning today, we're going to track every homicide in Kern County online. We're going to try to provide panorama coverage to a huge issue that usually is only reported in snapshots.
Friends and family remember a man who was shot early New Year's Day, and they say he now has died. It's the first homicide of 2016. This is the first officer-involved shooting in our county this year.
There have been 19 killings in this zip code this year.
By our count, these 2 homicides mark the 37th and 38th homicide in Kern County so far in 2016.
That's now 44 homicides in Kern County so far this year.
48th homicide.
54th homicide.
60 homicides, 65 homicides.
97 killings in Kern County this year. We're just one away from tying the record, which was set back in 2009.
We have more detailed information about homicides in Kern County on our homicide tracker. It's an interactive webpage that follows these cases from investigation to resolution if there is one. On the page, you'll find personal stories from the victims, along with detailed statistics. You can find the homicide tracker by going to our website, KernGoldenEmpire.com. She was on her way to share a piece of birthday cake with a friend when she was shot multiple times and died just a few feet from her home.
My sisters and my dad and them, they had just sang happy birthday to her. That's all she wanted was her family together for her birthday.
From celebrating to planning a funeral, a family is grieving the loss of their loved one, shot and killed on her birthday Monday. Bakersfield police say Priscilla DeLuna was shot several times around 8:40 Monday night near the intersection of South Tulare and East 7th Street. It was her 33rd birthday.
It's something with hate because, I mean, look at how many times they shot her.
Her family says she was on her way to share this cake with a friend.
It doesn't make sense. Everybody loved her. She wasn't in a gang. She just loved everybody.
Priscilla was an amazing, beautiful soul, beautiful person. She was the type that would give you the shirt off her back, her shoes off her feet.
Police are still searching for the shooter. There are no leads at this time.
Whoever did this to her, it was senseless and undeserving, and we got to put a stop to this kind of stuff because a beautiful person like that, she's going to be missed, you know.
It just needs to stop. All this violence needs to stop. It's ridiculous.
Starting in 2001, according to police records, Priscilla DeLuna did spend time in jail on charges that include burglary and possession of a controlled substance. Priscilla's sister says their brother, Martin DeLuna, was also shot and killed in 2009 near the intersection of Potomac and Washington. She says no one should have to deal with losses like these and hopes the shooter will surrender. If you have any information, call police at 327-7111. Tabitha Mills, 17 News. Kern is one of the deadliest counties in the state. As I researched old killings, new ones kept happening. In fact, 28 Kern County residents who were alive when I started this project have become homicide victims. And that's what struck me the most, the stories of the victims and their loved ones.
That you see you.
Life changed suddenly for this family just after midnight Monday morning.
All I hear is sirens, and I go outside and I see his mom holding him, and she's screaming. And she's saying, "Breathe, Jarrell, breathe, Jarrell."
Tawana Jasper's husband, Jarrell, was murdered in front of their home. He worked 2 jobs and was coming home from the night shift. His mother, Sheila Smallwood, heard the gunshots and found him lying in the street.
My baby laying face down like an animal.
She performed CPR, trying to save her son until the end.
His pulse began faint in his eye, his gaze locked. I saw my baby take his first breath, and I saw him take his last. No mother should ever have to endure that.
Jasper's wife, mother, and 3-year-old son, all there, all watching in horror.
Mom, is my dad okay? Mom, is that my dad laying down there. He going to the hospital, my dad. His son had to watch.
Jasper was the 43rd homicide victim in Kern County this year. There have been no arrests.
He was everything. Jarrell, good father, he loves his kids. He loves his kids.
124 people have been victims of homicide in Kern County since January 1st, 2015. In 2015, 81 people lost their lives at the hands of others. So far this year, 43, and it's only May. That puts us on track to lose more than 100 Kern County residents in 2016, the most killings ever.
To take a life is not to make you big, it makes you small. It makes you a coward.
Not including officer-involved shootings, by our count, in 2015, only 40% of homicides have been solved. That means 60% remain unsolved. No arrests, no charges, no justice for the victim.
Life is the most precious gift that anyone can have.
It means murderers walk among us as families grieve.
We just need closure. Whoever, if y'all know who did this, somebody come up and say something.
In 2015, there were 9.2 homicides for every 100,000 people in Kern County. That's a higher homicide rate than the city of Los Angeles, which had 7.2 per every 100,000 people. Tulare and Merced were the only two California counties that had a higher homicide rate than Kern.
Y'all need to put the guns down. I need to give y'all life to God. Pray for better days.
Jesus, and we know you're there, Lord Jesus.
Taking a closer look at 2015, 70% of homicide victims died from gunshot wounds. The other 30%, blunt force trauma, strangulation, and stabbing. 90% were male. The average age of the victim, 34. The majority Hispanic, 23% Caucasian, 17% African American, 1% Asian. African Americans were 2.75 times more likely to be a homicide victim than the population as a whole. Hispanics 1.4 times more likely to be killed.
A lot of our homicides involve gangs, and gang members are predominantly male. If you look at the demographics and the numbers.
Jasper's family says he wasn't in a gang, but he had been in county jail.
He set an example. I'm gonna be a father. He changed his life, did a whole 360. He changed my life.
Breaking it down by zip code, the South Bakersfield zip code of 93307 had the most homicides in 2015 at 12. Jasper was killed in South Bakersfield.
Jarrell never wanted nothing but to go up higher. He didn't want to be in Bakersfield no more. And he was working, but he did not want to leave his mama living off of Cottonwood, so we stayed. And this is the end result.
10 homicides occurred in the 93215 zip code. That includes most of Delano. At this time last year, there had been 28 homicides.
This needs to stop. All this violence needs to stop.
7 of those officer-involved shootings.
Don't do it! Don't do it!
So far this year, there have been 43 homicides.
It is scary. Who's gonna die next?
But only 2 were officer-involved shootings.
Looking back at the past 15 years, according to the coroner's office, there have been an average of 72 homicides per year. The most in 2009 at 98. The least in 2003 at 51. If we take 2015, which had by our count arrests or charges and only 40% of the homicides, and we applied it to the last 15 years, it means there could be more than 600 people killed in Kern County who never received justice. Their families still searching for answers. The community still on edge.
He's gonna be missed. I just can't believe he's not here. It's hard. It's really hard.
For anyone who knows anything about this, please come forward so that his babies, his beautiful babies, his family can have closure.
Matt Odom was going through a messy divorce and child custody case when he was found dead on his front lawn. Mounting tension between 2 families has intensified with accusations of infidelity, abuse, and ultimately murder. Chris Odom says he knows who killed his brother.
100%. If I had to bet everything I had, I would bet everything I had that it's them.
He's referring to Matt Odom's estranged wife, Summers, and her boyfriend at the time, now husband, Garrett Holden.
There's no other logical explanation. It wasn't a robbery. He had money on him. Nobody took nothing. There was no other motive but to go there and kill him. Planned.
Chris Odom hasn't been quiet about his feelings, creating a Facebook group, Justice for Matt Odom, and passing out flyers with pictures of Summers and Garrett Holden. Holden came to us to assert his innocence and vent what he says is his frustration of constant harassment by Chris Odom.
We have been hunted, tortured, tormented, stalked. We have been in fear for probably 90% of the last 2 years.
Summers Holden did not want to be interviewed, but Garrett says she also maintains her innocence.
Guilty until proven innocent is what it seems like. And no one's done anything about it.
Garrett Holden says police had a theory when they were interviewed after the murder.
My wife was 8 months pregnant when this happened with my baby. She couldn't walk because of a varicosity in her leg. And yet the police have the audacity to suggest that she prostituted herself out as a murder for hire is ludicrous.
Matt Odom was granted full custody of their 4 children 5 months before his death. He also had a restraining order against Summers Holden. A video taken by Matt Odom that lasts more than an hour shows her confront him in front of their children during a visitation exchange in March 2014 in a fast food restaurant parking lot.
You're gonna get my kids taken away from me.
Stop. Ow! Stop it!
You are gonna get my kids taken away from me.
At another point, the children can be heard crying as their parents struggle over his cell phone as Summers Holden tells him not to record her.
Stop! Stop! Get out of my...
Take me off your
Stop! Stop! You need to stop.
It's a short glimpse into a 10-year relationship.
Yes, she had a moment in a video, but my wife was scared of losing her children, and that's what fueled that. She is the most loving, kind mother. Her kids are her life, and they were ripped away from her.
She painted her own picture. She lost custody due to the video and lost all the income that he was providing her. Motive enough? I believe so.
Summers and Garrett Holden now have custody of the 4 children. There have been no arrests in Matt Odom's murder. Bakersfield police have not named any suspects, but a police spokesman says no one has been cleared in the investigation. There have been close to 180 homicides since the Matt Odom killing. The vast majority remain unsolved. In the last 2 years, at least 3 detectives have been in charge of the investigation, including former Bakersfield police detective Demasio Diaz. Diaz will be sentenced later this month after a federal investigation into police corruption, making the case even more complicated.
Somebody told me if they have a crappy cop on the case, it's hard to figure it out, but if they have a dirty cop, it's even harder because they go to lengths to cover things up.
Chris Odom says he will continue to share his message until an arrest is made.
There's a killer out on the street, still walking around, you know. Think about your kids, think about your son, your brother, your whatever, that if something happened to them, would you just be quiet, or would you make it as loud as possible so everybody looked?
Police are still investigating the murder.
Yeah, we want them to find whoever did it, just like anyone else, but it wasn't us.
If you have any information, call Bakersfield Police at 327-7111. We've posted the full interviews on our website, kerngoldenempire.com.
The sheriff's office found the 21-year-old right behind that door, apartment number 5. Shot and killed. They have no idea why, and they're hoping for answers soon. They say that the young man liked to keep to himself and worked at Jack in the Box by Valley Plaza.
A random bullet hit him just because someone decided to, shoot at people.
Miguel Bravo's cousin believes a bullet hole at the bottom of his door suggests how he died.
Where you open the door, he was like laying right there.
Dulce Bravo Chavez says her younger cousin slept right by the door because it was the coolest place in his apartment. And when his friends drove up to make sure the news was true, they said the same. In complete shock, they weren't ready to talk on camera, but said they had just moved Bravo in 2 weeks before.
He wasn't doing nothing. He was just in his apartment, minding his own business.
Chavez told 17 News her family was told Miguel was dead for at least 3 days when he was found, and that he was possibly hit by a stray bullet early Saturday during a shooting less than 500 feet from his apartment. A shooting where 14 people were hit, the biggest mass shooting in Bakersfield history. This is the house where shots ring out. As the camera pans, you see Bravo's front door. Unexpected, and officials from the sheriff's office say they cannot confirm yet if the two incidents are related.
I think that just came out of nowhere, so we're trying to raise the money.
As Bravo's family mourns, waiting to go inside and get his personal belongings, they hope for justice.
For someone at least to step forward and say something, because it's not fair. He was doing absolutely nothing, and for him to get killed because of that, it's not fair.
17's Kristen Price was at the Amtrak station this morning where officers reenacted that shooting. She joins us now with details. Kristen?
Tammy, police released 2 cell phone videos of the shooting late this afternoon captured by witnesses, and we're getting a clearer picture as detectives return to the scene today to reenact the shooting.
Don't do it, man! Don't do it! Don't do it!
Side-by-side images show what led up to the deadly shooting.
Get out the way!
On the left of your screen, Detective John Bilt reenacts the shooting with his gun pointed at the man who police say had a knife. On the right, cell phone video taken by a witness. It shows the man walking toward Bilt, ignoring people's pleas. Bilt fires 6 shots. You see the detective fall down into bushes. We've paused the video here, not showing the man falling to the ground after the final shot is fired. Bilt radios dispatch. 998, indicating there's been an officer-involved shooting.
And this is the second deadly officer-involved shooting in Kern County this year. By our count, there were 23 local law enforcement shootings in 2015. 13 of those were deadly.
Police say 44-year-old Gonzalo Garibay led them to this steep terrain in what's known as Rockwall in Los Padres National Forest in Ventura County. In the remote area, police say they found the body of an adult female.
We believe it is Rosa Garibay.
According to investigators at the scene, had police not been led to the body, they never would have found it. The 41-year-old mother of 3 was reported missing by her employer and was last seen by her family near her home in southwest Bakersfield on Sunday. At the time, police said they did not believe her disappearance to be suspicious, saying they were told she often left without telling anyone. But that all quickly changed.
Yesterday, our detectives developed some information that there may be some suspicious circumstances surrounding her case. They spoke with her husband, which ultimately led to his arrest.
Police are not releasing any details on Rosa Garibay's cause of death at this time, but last night towed 3 vehicles from the Garibay home. Neighbors said officers told them there was blood splattered in one of them.
There are some details about the case that we can't talk about right now that will come out later.
During the entire police investigation, the Garibay's 3 children inside of the house finally escorted out today with their paternal grandmother. Since 2014, police have been called to the Garibay home 5 times. 2 of those calls were related to domestic violence. And court records do show a misdemeanor charge of inflicting corporal injury on a spouse or cohabitant that were filed against Mr. Garibay, but those charges were dropped in May of last year. Reporting in Southwest Bakersfield, Tabitha Mills, 17 News.